Did I have a girlfriend while I was in prison? I get that question all the time. So I went to prison 10 years ago and I was in prison for 5 years. When I went to prison, I had been married to my husband, Chad, for 18 years. We had 3 young children at home. So he took care of the children while I went to prison. I can't imagine anything worse than being unfaithful to my husband, who was taking care of my family while I was gone. I can't imagine anything worse than disrespecting myself by not honoring the covenant and promise that I made to my husband. We had been through a lot together. And so I was completely faithful to my husband and he was completely faithful to me. And I know people are going to say it just didn't happen, but I know my husband and I know how he feels about himself and our family. And I know his integrity and he would just not do that. And then the other thing is, I remember when I was in prison, I was talking to this gal and her name was Val. And she was kind of a tough girl. She had been locked up for 20 years and she was doing life. And she had a girlfriend. And she said to me one day, "Hey, Louder, why do you think nobody messes with me? Nobody ever tries to get in a fight with me." And I started laughing and I'm like, "Val, people know better." And I said, "Val, why do you think nobody ever hits on me?" And she started laughing. She goes, "Louder, people know better." And that's the truth. People never bothered me that way. And there were a large percentage of women that just didn't get into those types of relationships. And what I saw in prison was that those relationships always, I shouldn't say always, but the majority of the time they ended bad. Because people came in, they were struggling, they were hurting. A lot of times they'd been into their addiction, they were away from their children. And so they were looking for something to make them feel better in the moment, but it usually caused pain in the long run. I really loved the genuine connection we shared in prison. And I felt like the relationships, the girlfriend relationships got in the way of that. So that's the truth. I never have ever been in a relationship with a woman. I've been married to my husband now for 28 years and how grateful I am that we walked through that experience together.